Comparing ourselves to others is a very mentally self-destructive behavior. We all know the feeling of feeling like a crap after doing that. But sometimes I think as a human being, it's just human nature to feel envy and jealous towards others. And well, with the present of social media, it just makes everything worse. We can't help but constantly compare ourselves to others when browsing those feeds. And it really frustrates me. Today's videos are for anyone, and also for me, who in this age of social media inevitably compare ourselves to others. In this video, I will first share with you some important mindsets and mentalities that will help us to stop comparing ourselves to others. And then in the later part, I will share with you some practical steps that I personally find very helpful that will help us taking our first step to stop ourselves from constantly compare ourselves to others. Let's get right in! Lily flower versus rose flower. I really like the metaphor that Aileen, the host of YouTube channel Lavender, uses in her video. Imagine yourself as a lily flower and the person you are comparing yourself to as a rose flower. You both are unique in your own way, having your own strengths, weaknesses, gifts, talents, personalities, life experiences, and so on, so on. No matter what kinds of flowers you are, you will always bloom in your own unique way. So you can never truly compare yourself to others on social media, because besides both being a human being, all the other parts are different. What you can only do is to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, but not to who someone else is today.
Behind the scene versus highlight.
I once read a comment on YouTube and it really speaks to my heart. Quote, "The reality is you can't truly compare yourself to others, because when you do it, you are not actually comparing yourself to others, but you are comparing your behind the scenes to someone's highlight reel." This is so true. So true. Especially now as a content creator myself, I have insight into another perspective that I didn't have before. Let me tell you, we as a human being, no matter how balanced we try to be, we still tend to share positive and beautiful contents on social media instead of depressing or boring one. So the thing is, you can never truly compare yourself to others on social media, because you can never know the full picture of someone's life on social media. So it's just so not fair to compare the full picture of yourself to their highlight reels, right? And not to say that so many things nowadays on social media are literally fake. On the other hand, what you saw on social media can equal to extremely hard work behind the scenes. To be honest, I used to be quite jealous of Zoe, the host of YouTube channel Zoe Languages, as she also do language learning related videos and her channel is growing so fast. But after I tried to build a more complete picture of her myself, I realized that Zoe, as a PhD candidate, must have spent thousands of hours researching and learning about languages. So the 10-ish videos on her YouTube channels are really the highlights of all her hard work in the past years. Your imagination versus their reality. Ever since I learned about this mentality, it has helped me so much in decreasing the numbers of times I feel envy or jealous towards others, and also the numbers of times I compare myself to others. Listen to me. Every stages has its own struggles and challenges. No matter how amazing you think the life of the person you compare yourselves to are, trust me, they have their own set of struggles and challenges. We tend to think that if we reach a certain stage, we must be extremely happy and will be happy ever after. But no, personally, I think that would be impossible. Have you ever had the experience of finally reaching a goal or a milestone that you were longing for so long and thought that your life will be amazing ever after, and only later realized that all the other challenges and struggles came along with it? That's what I'm talking about here. Really, no matter what kind of great life you thought they are in, they all have their own life issues and challenges. So I really learned not to compare myself to my own imagination of them, because it just doesn't make sense, right? But you might be thinking, oh, Pearly, but I know all about these mentalities and mindsets, but I just still couldn't stop myself from comparing myself to them on social media. Totally agree with you, because I think it takes a lot of time for these mindsets or mentalities to develop and to be ingrained into your mind, your head. That's why I'm gonna share with you some practical steps that you can do right now that personally I find very helpful in helping me stop comparing myself, or at least decreasing the number of times I compare myself to others on social media. First step, delete social media that do you more harm than good. So what I mean by harm is like, for example, this comparison game or like wasting your precious time, etc. And the good parts are when you're looking for inspirations, informations, or use it to connect with friends, etc. And if you find yourself really couldn't analyze it in your head, I really recommend you to pull out a piece of paper and write out the good part and the harming part and do a full analysis. Second step, mute or unfollow account that will make you feel envy or jealous or constantly compare yourselves to. I love this muting function on Instagram so much. Since they first introduced it, I muted so many of the accounts that I follow, because sometimes unfollowing accounts is a bit difficult for me, because some of them, they are still my friends or my acquaintances. I still want this level of connection, but I just don't want to know like all the time what they have been up to all day, what they had just ate, what they have just went, etc. So now, instead of being controlled by Instagram, just like me passively absorbing their stories, their contents, their posts, now since I already muted all of them, their stories, their posts, when I'm like actually curious about what they have been up to lately, I can actively check in their stories or posts myself. I really recommend the muting function. Third step, let's talk about a pretty tricky situation. We all know that sometimes, not just sometimes, for me very often, that we are just curious about someone's life, whether it's influencers or your friends, etc, and we just want to check out their contents and their accounts so much, and it's like a black hole. And then we all know that after we checking out their accounts, we are gonna feel like crap, because it is very likely that their life is gonna look amazing on social media. So my solution is that whenever I want to do it, reminded myself the consequences that will very likely happen after I do it, and also I gear myself up with the mentalities that I mentioned in the first part to really like prevent myself to compare myself too much with them, and also set a timer. Let's say 10 minutes. Let's not exceed that. If you exceed 10 minutes, Pearly will be mad at you. Fourth step, instead of wasting your mental capacity to feel envy or jealous toward them, instead find one strength out of him or her and learn from them. This tip is very helpful because what we are doing is literally we are replacing our negative feelings like envy and jealous with admiration. When we shift our mindset and try to learn from them, we no longer feel bad about ourselves anymore. We no longer compare ourselves to them. Fifth step, and also one of the most important steps. Take time to learn who you are, what you want, and what makes you genuinely happy. For example, what kind of lifestyle you want that will make you genuinely happy? What do you value the most in your life? What kinds of jobs you want to do? What kinds of relationships you are looking for in your life? What you are interested in? What hobbies do you have? Etc. etc. The more you know about yourself, the more you know what makes you genuinely happy, the less likely that you will feel envy or jealous towards others. And of course, it will also decrease the numbers of times you compare yourself to others, because when you saw all those feeds on social media, you know immediately that that's not the life that you want, and that's not that will make you genuinely happy. So of course, you won't feel bad by seeing all those feeds because you just know that's not your thing. Right, so that's about it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Today's videos is a bit different. I hope you will like it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!